Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, cloud gaming. What could possibly go wrong? Over the last few days, if you've been paying any attention to Google Stadia, and I don't know why you would be, there has been some interesting news about players losing save files. As I'm sure you know, Stadia is the cloud gaming service offered by Google where you can stream games to your TV from their various data centers. And while the idea isn't a new one and has been tried many times, it is clearly an idea tech companies are very into, and most video game players still aren't the biggest fan of. And it shows as Stadia continues to struggle to find a place in the market. Add to its troubles now that on the forums, users have begun complaining about Ghost Recon Breakpoint's save progress being wiped out for no reason. Their original game profiles were wiped, and then new ones were created? And I know for most of you that probably sounds like a horror story, right? Because if you're like me, and you play a lot of RPGs, I'm sure you've had at least one point in your life, that moment where you forgot to save, and like 3 to 4 hours have gone by, and that is just gone now. Imagine that, but with Stadia, and instead of 3 to 4 hours, it's like 600. No one knows at the moment if it's a Stadia issue or a Ubisoft issue, but several days have gone by and no fix has been found. It was, however, noted and brought to the attention of Stadia community support, who assures its users that it will be handled by their top men. It's an Indiana Jones joke, and then they take the Ark and they put it in the warehouse, and then no one actually deals with it, and that's what I'm trying to... Yeah, I don't think they're going to fix it. Anyway, enough crapping on cloud gaming. Let's talk other news. Over the weekend, my phone was blown up with people asking me if I'd seen news about the PlayStation 5 Pro and Xbox Series X Pro. And I was like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm back, and now I know what they were talking about. All the commotion this weekend started thanks to an event hosted by the TV company TCL, first reported on by a Polish news outlet. And while it appears they're saying that it's probably a few years out still, they do mention a PS5 Pro and a Pro version of the Xbox X. I think the reason why people were talking about this is the fact that they can't even produce the consoles they need now, let alone potential Pro versions. How on earth are they considering next gen already? In various slides shown around the internet, you can see they mark details about generation 9.5 with an 8K output and a 2160p this and that. And look, it already seems like too much for the average user, but then again, the average user doesn't even have a normal PS5, so what the hell does it matter? Now, from at least my perspective, the real takeaway here is that it's likely a guesstimate based on the fact that I can find no evidence that TCL has any actual idea about upcoming consoles, whether it's real or not or whatever. However, Kotaku notes that the reason it all blew up over the weekend is because it's kind of the right time for people to find something to be hype about, and honestly, I kind of agree with that. Summer's almost here. We've had a bunch of big releases, but they've been out for a while already. There's nothing really huge coming on the horizon except for announcements for things that we will see next year and beyond. And so right now, people are looking for something to get crazy hype about. And even if it's ridiculous, like Pro versions of the current generation, which people are still labeling next gen because no one can get their hands on it right now. So it's still like an amorphous, ethereal thing, like it's coming, but it exists. It's pretty crazy right now in the game world. And so I think it's, something to talk about, something to get people excited about. And honestly, real or not, it's an exciting thing to discuss. No matter where you stand on the issue. But I'd love to know where you stand in the comments below, because it is kind of hype, but also ridiculous. I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for new releases. This Wednesday, nothing is like a potentially terrifying swim into the unknown to spice up your week, as Silt releases. Explore dangerous waters, possess sea creatures, and solve all the puzzles you can before, I imagine, those sea creatures eat you. At least that's what I assume happens, since everything in the sea is always trying to eat you. On Thursday, Card Shark, the game about being a deceitful 18th century high society hustler. Woo! It's the game I was born to play. Master the art of fake shuffles, deck switching, false deals, and more to grow your wealth, and then get caught up in all sorts of conspiracy and intrigue. It's such a unique game. How could you pass it up? Also on Thursday, if you want to take a trip back to the video game days of old, be sure to check out Soldiers, a 16-bit retro-style platformer with all the Metroidvania love you can ask for. With 3 classes to play and tons of great-looking level design and spell effects, it looks like it could be a great new game to enjoy your time with. Speaking of enjoying your time, yup, patreon.com/Jesse Cox. We got all sorts of stuff over there for you now. I would love it if you go check it out. Just like Germs B, Enrico McClude, and Brandon Licklama on a J-hole. Boy, I hope that's how you say those last 2 names. Woo! They came hard today. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the comments and likes, subscriptions, the sharing. Please continue to do so. And I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.